Jesus Christ, you people suck.
Wow.
Wolverine on it.
Back in the days when we played video games, it was hardcore for the nerdy and lazy. Now things have changed and all our video games are also for the casual and lady. But that's okay, you know the score. We told you a million times before. Playing consoles, not just games, is in the past. And every week you listen to the best damn internet radio crew. It's the N4G podcast. It's the N4G podcast.
Alright, it's time! Another week, N4G Radio. This is episode 691 for March 14th, 2022. And on the show this week we have Anthony.
Yeah.
We got the Wombat too. It might have
That's my
been,
Kirby impression.
I was going to say, that might have been really good had it not cut.
Oh.
There we
That
go.
was even worse that time.
Yeah, okay. What I think that Discord cut off that high pitched sound for a good reason.
Discord's like, F you ain't getting in there. Oh boy. Well, it was a week in video games, and we're going to talk about video games, I suppose.
Suppose.
Anthony, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'm still playing Assassin's Creed Origins. But
Or
that's
are you?
not
I thought you were
what
going to
I
say
wanted
you were also still naked, and I was like, what?
Okay, well, why?
You made me think about
What
it.
weird
so now,
fucking... No, I didn't!
You told me you
Like,
messaged me from the shower, so I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
outside of the shower before I started. I wasn't
Oh,
like,
okay. I thought
let
you
me
were
just
like
reach
literally
in.
like leaning out of the shower, like
No.
texting.
You weirdo, fucking picturing me naked? That's such a weird thing.
I was.
You made this weird.
Shh, be quiet.
I want you to know that.
Video games?
We save that shit for private.
It's no less weird than any of the other 690 episodes.
That's true.
You're not wrong. Okay, other than Assassin's Creed, because everybody's tired of hearing that. I'm tired of talking about it. I started a game for review called Young Souls, which is out, apparently. Like,
Young Soul.
I had like a day. Yeah, terrible name. A terrible name because obviously Souls carries a weight with it now, and this game isn't anything to do with like difficulty or any of that stuff. I'm not shitting on it. I'm just saying like it's a very odd choice to call your game Young Souls, because immediately that is going to imply something that it's not. What Young Souls is I've heard them called as belt brawlers. It's a beat 'em up where there is some RPG elements. I was expecting a River City Ransom game. I think that's the best I can explain it. And it's sort of there. It's a decent beat 'em up. I wouldn't say anything right now kind of stands out other than the animation. At first I was like, oh, so it's, a CG, in that 2D art style that a lot of, like, modern cartoons are done with, style game. But then they animate these sequences, and I'm like, oh my god, that is so well done. Everything animates really well. The audio's good. There's no voice acting, which I think takes away from the game a bit because there's a lot of dialogue and there's a lot of character in that dialogue, and I think voice acting would have just pushed it over into being like really great. Obviously, if they had good voice actors, but I don't think that would have been an issue. Because the dialogue's so well written, I feel like you would know immediately if you had a bad voice actor that you had to replace. Yeah, it's fine. It's a weird thing to say. Like, all the RPG elements don't really feel necessary so far. I'm still early on. Maybe this becomes a bigger issue later, but, like, I don't see the point of having a strength value that I go to the gym to upgrade. Just have my character be a basic strength all along and have my skill carry me. And the reason why I say that is because the game is broken up into, like, this is a brawler segment. Now this is the segment where you can wander around town. And, like, the River City games don't break that part up. Like, I'm walking down a street and I can just enter a shop and then walk back out and then, go back to fighting immediately. And I'm leveling up at a gym playing a mini game, which was actually far more difficult than I thought, for weightlifting. And it won't be a while until I have to fight another character. So that's where I'm like, well, it's like, you want to be an RPG brawler, or a brawler with RPG elements or whatever, but they're so disconnected, that I don't think it's great. Like, it's a very good game. I don't think it's great yet, but that could change. I am interested in the story. They do one of those false beginnings where you start at the end of the game and then it brings you back to what's brought you there.
48 hours earlier.
Yeah, basically. And it's these goblins in the underworld that are coming up to the surface.
That sounds like a death metal band. Goblins in the underworld.
Goblin was experimental rock band from Italy.
Hey, we're halfway there.
They did a bunch
Living
of. I'm done. There's really not much else to say about this game. It's very good. It's very well animated, but I'm missing the point where this turns into something where I go, yeah, you need to play this, because I'm going to recommend. And even though I didn't think it was the best out of the River City games, like I would say River City Girls is more entertaining and is well animated as well. I would say play that before playing Young Souls right now, if only for the fact that Young Souls really just is missing something. Also, I'm going to say it now, when you don't have voice acting and I'm reading curse words, it feels forced. Because it's like, it takes me out of it, because most of the dialogue doesn't have curse words, and then there'll just be a random fuck thrown in, and it's like, okay, but you're not having anyone voice this, so I have to read it in my head, and I'm like, well, what if it wasn't going there?
What if the swear words were like the only word? You know how like in some games that don't have voice acting, they just make a noise when they start their dialogue? Like when the dialogue comes up for that one, they're just like, fuck!
You know what? That'd actually be better. Like, if they just made small noises of like, to show their emotion, and then if you drop fuck, it would be like, okay. Like, there'd still be something, but because I'm reading text, it lacks emotion. Even though it shows me what the character's face looks like while they're saying it, it's like, there is a disconnect. So,
So what you're saying is the characters don't have a fuck face.
I don't know what's with you today, Ken, but I'm going to ask you to cut that shit out. Thanks. I'm done. Fuck this. I don't have anything else to talk about anyways. That was kind of my last point.
I don't know if you saw it floating around yesterday, but
I don't want to know what the fuck.
No, the picture of the Wanda figure, the Scarlet Witch figure with the face.
Yeah. It's like a knockoff Scarlet Witch figure.
Oh man, that face is just like, oh my god.
I'm gonna look it up. That was on Twitter, I'm assuming?
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw it on Twitter. Oh my god, the Wanda.
Just look up either Scarlet Witch or Wanda, you'll find it.
Yeah, it was trending.
Also, I'm gonna just say right now, Twitter, stop fucking around with...
Oh, the home thing?
Oh, yeah, fuck off.
Oh my god.
Oh, well, if you want it to always be, you need to sign up for Twitter Blue. That's not how you make people sign up. That's how you make people leave a platform. Also, I see the Scarlet Witch figure where she's got this weird...
That face, man.
That's her Jim Halpert face.
Yeah. This is not a... I don't think this is a bootleg. This is like one of those higher end ones, and it's like...
I thought it was a knockoff. I thought somebody confirmed that it was like one of those third-party companies making the figure.
It is.
You know, it might be, but like
she's not even called Scarlet Witch. She's called like Miss Spooktacular or something.
It's that face that they're trying to do.
Miss Spooktacular?
You're right. It is Lady Spooktacular.
Lady Spooktacular.
Holy
this
cow.
is like the...
Man, I love
That's what they're going for. They're going for that sequence in the show.
Yeah. They were hoping
that's
it would
like
become a meme or something.
There's a guy. I gotta say a guy. There's a group of people. I don't know how many people there are, but they make they're called Third Emissary, and they make figures, and I have to read them now. They do like short runs of like Nintendo. I meant figures that are clearly not Nintendo. Like it's definitely not Samus in the fusion suit. It's Parasite suit, the figure.
Parasite suit, the figure.
It's not Captain Falcon. It's Sergeant Raptor, guys. Come on.
I saw one yesterday of Astro Train that was TF-77 Thomas. I was like, okay, that's Thomas. He's a Transformer called Thomas.
I love those names where they're like, you clearly are like avoiding copyright. It's the same with the costumes that you can buy where it's like the knockoff costumes. Oh, I want those people to name characters all the time.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else besides Young
No, that's
Souls?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not. That's it.
I'm so excited. We're going to the Wombat.
Yeah. Anytime anybody talks about Twitter making changes, it always reminds me of the Action Cookbook tweet about people giving feedback to Twitter, where it's like, oh, you're alienating all the people that use your product. Twitter, likes are now florps. Users, what? Twitter, timeline goes sideways. Like they always add goofy stuff that nobody asked for instead of all the stuff that people actually want.
You know, like an edit button? That'd be cool.
Oh, they
go back and
added
forth
an
on
edit button.
But you got to
I go
pay
back
for
and
it.
forth on the edit
Yeah.
button. The only way I'm okay with an edit button is if there's a big flashing disclaimer that says the tweet was edited.
Y'all can't fucking spell.
Yeah, I'm less worried about that and more worried about people purposely
Liking a
changing
tweet
tweets after somebody retweets it or likes it.
Yeah.
You say something really nice, and then it's like you change it to something horrible.
Yeah.
Hey, I like this tweet. Oh my
Yep.
god. You
Huh.
son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. All right.
Oh, it's time.
It's time. Well, so just quickly first, I'll say that I also played a little bit more Horizon Forbidden West. That game is so gorgeous. Like, it is unreal how good that game looks.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So I'm super early. With WWE, I obviously haven't had time to play it much, so I'm just coming out of the title sequence, really. Because you've got all that stuff to do before the title sequence. But, yeah, game's really, really pretty. So I'm looking forward to putting some more time in that now. Especially now that I believe I have all of my notes and everything gathered to finish my review for the other game that I played this week, which is WWE 2K22. So...
10 out of 10 game of the year.
So
right?
let me condition it by saying that it is leaps and bounds better than the last one. Of course, I gave the last one a 3.5 out of 10 and said in my review that it was one of the worst major releases from a major publisher I've ever played in my life. Both of which are things I still stand by. This one is better, for sure. And in fact, there are some ways that I think it's even better than 19, which was actually pretty good. So let me we'll go through it relatively quickly, and then if people want the deep dirty, they can get it from my review. So gameplay is a lot different this time around. So you've got your light strikes, which are X on Xbox or square on PlayStation. Throughout this little conversation, I'll just refer to Xbox controls because that's what I played, and you guys can map it in your own minds. So you've got your normal. So X are light strikes, A are heavy strikes, and B is a grapple. And then once you're grappling, you can use X and A in combination with different directions to do different moves. One of the big new things this year is they have added a combo system. And so the combo system is actually pretty cool. So basically every superstar has a set of, I'm going to say maybe 10 different combos. And when I say combo, it's legit, just like a fighting game combo. So your character can either end the combo with a light strike, a heavy strike, or a grapple. And so, for example, your wrestler might have a combo that's 2 light strikes, 2 heavy strikes, and a grapple, right? And so when you do that, there are unique moves and animations that are in that combo that you can't do unless you do the combo. So I'll just use, let me see here. Who do I want to use as an example? I'll use Rey Mysterio as an example. So there are certain sort of variations on the head scissor that Rey Mysterio can only use if you end a combo with it, for example. And so when they work, they're actually pretty cool. And it does, I'll say, help the flow of the match a little bit. You can reverse strikes with Y. Grapple reverses and mid-combo reverses are different. So the first strike you can reverse with Y, but once you're in a combo, they have breaker moves. Go ahead, Ken.
Combo breaker!
Thank you. Those breakers are going to be based on you guessing what button your opponent hit next. So
it's exactly like Killer Instincts.
Yeah. So your opponent's using a combo that's XXAAB, let's say. If they're on the A button press and you press A, you'll break out of the combo with a reversal. The breaker system works okay. I'll say that it's the reversal windows are larger in terms of timing this time around, especially right when the match starts. As the match goes on, your windows get a little smaller. But because you have to guess what button to hit, and it's not just the same button every time, it is more difficult as a player to do a reversal in the middle of a combo or to reverse a grapple, which is good. Unfortunately, the computer still reverses way too much. It's been a criticism of mine of this series going back, probably to 2K14 or 13. The series is just way too reversal heavy. It's to the point of ridiculousness with the stuff that gets reversed. So that's still a criticism. The computer still reverses way too much. Outside of that, you got your body part damage system. You've got the way health works is a little bit different. You've got a vitality bar. Once that's depleted, you'll start going into basically a permanent damage bar, which lowers how much you can recharge. You've got your special meter. The special meter and the finisher meter are disconnected. So You've got your 3-level special meter that, first bar does like a special defensive action. So it could be like rolling out of the ring when you've got a lot of damage or something along those lines. 2 bars does your payback move, which they introduced in the last game, which is like you get to pick it before the match starts. But so if you're a bad guy, it could be a low blow, could be your payback move, or hidden brass knuckles could be your payback move, or resilience, where you can basically immediately kick out of a pin no matter what is happening, or a submission. And then 3 meters is your signature moves. And if you land a signature move, you automatically get a finisher banked, or you can build up the finisher meter separately. And that's how you get your finishers and stuff. So that's how the gameplay sort of works. A couple things I'll say about the actual wrestling itself. It, generally speaking, I think plays better. It feels, I don't know that it is, but it feels like it's easier to do some of the cooler stuff in the game. A couple of years ago, they introduced a carry mechanic where you can basically just pick the other character up and not do a move yet, but there's different positions you can carry them in while you walk around. And you can use that system to do some of the cooler stuff like powerbomb people over the ropes or through a ladder that's bridged between the ring and the announce table. And all that stuff feels a lot easier to set up this time around. It doesn't seem like you're fiddling or fumbling with controls to be able to do all that stuff, which is great. So outside of all that, the way the game plays is much better. But the series still has all the same fucking problems that they've had for 10 years, which is frustrating because my expectation, the last game released in October of 19.
Yeah.
So with the extra time, there were 2 expectations that I had. The first was that the roster, the characterization of the individual wrestlers on the roster, the commentary, the storylines and stuff like that, I expected them to all be several years out of date, or at least a year out of date, which in the WWE is a big difference, right? A lot of stuff changes in a year. And that is mostly true. The roster is the worst roster that they've had in a long time, but to be fair, the actual WWE has their worst roster in a long time too. So that's not necessarily a 2K problem, but there's, I think, 180 wrestlers on the roster, and a good deal of them are legends. So I'd say probably a good 40 of them are legends or alternative versions of other wrestlers. So that's one thing the game does, is it doesn't wrestlers don't have costumes. They insert a completely different version of that character into your roster list. So for example, a wrestler, Finn Balor, has an alter ego of the Demon, and that's a completely separate wrestler on the roster in this game, and one that you have to unlock with virtual currency. The Undertaker DLC that comes with the NWO for Life edition and deluxe editions of the game is 3 or 4 different versions of the Undertaker, and all 3 of them are added to your roster as different wrestlers, which is fine, except when it comes to stuff like the Royal Rumble, where if you don't set all the participants in the Rumble manually, you end up with a situation where your Rumble has, 2 different versions of Hulk Hogan, and 3 different versions of The Undertaker, sometimes all in the ring at the same time, right? Which there should have been, I think, a quick option to eliminate duplicates of wrestlers, but that's not there. At least not that I could find. The only thing I can find is you can manually set all 30 participants in the Rumble. which is a good feature, but way too time consuming for what I would want to do. Are
you telling me that Hulk Hogan and Hollywood Hogan are the same person?
Listen, I know it's difficult for you to hear,
Oh,
but yes. There are also 3 versions of Scott Hall and 3 versions. No. Just 3 versions of Scott Hall, I believe.
Did you see the news about Scott Hall?
I did, unfortunately, yeah. So good vibes up for Scott Hall, who unfortunately is on life support right now. At least as of the most recent news that I read. So,
God damn,
good vibes up for him.
3 heart attacks.
Yeah.
Jesus. I have a question.
Sure.
The Demon,
Yep.
is that the one that isn't the guy gone from WWE? Which
No,
one
you're
am I
thinking of
thinking?
the Fiend.
The Fiend. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking of. You're
That's
right.
Bray
Okay.
Wyatt. He is not
Thank
in
you.
here, but it's a good point that you make, and actually leads well into the next thing I was going to bring up. There are 36 wrestlers on this roster that are either released or no longer under contract to WWE. So there are some folks that have made their way to AEW that are not on this roster. So Malachi Black is one who's not on the roster. Bray Wyatt is not on the roster. But a lot of the more recent folks are still in the game. So Keith Lee is in the game. Ember Moon, who's no longer under WWE contract, is in the game. There's a lot of folks that just don't work there anymore. And folks that are intertwined into the story mode of the game, into My Rise, which is sort of the career mode of the game, in the universe mode of the game, in video clips and stuff that play throughout the game. There are, like I said, 36 wrestlers that are no longer with the WWE. And again, I can't blame 2K for that because the WWE is just release happy. They've released more than 200 wrestlers in the last 2 years. So it was inevitable that the roster was going to be out of date, and it definitely is. The challenge is, in that 2 years, they haven't fixed any of the physics issues, any of the glitches that continue to happen, and not infrequently, right? It's not as if, you know, you've got to search or try to replicate that stuff. I've come across a lot just playing the game. I just posted another one on Twitter this afternoon where I was in a Money in the Bank ladder match last night, which for people who don't know, it's a 8-person ladder match. There's a briefcase hanging from the top. And in that ladder match, 2 of the real issues that are legacy issues for the series stand out. The first is the physics issues, in that Humberto Carrillo climbs the ladder with somebody else. The ladder gets knocked out from under him, and he is just standing in midair, and then takes 2 steps up an invisible ladder that doesn't exist, and stands on the top of an invisible ladder that doesn't exist, until another ladder gently clips his foot, and he falls out of the sky.
So it sounds like you're not really a wrestling fan, because this is the shit that happens all the time. Clearly.
Yeah. Clearly. Brock Lesnar knows how to levitate, as is evident in the clip that I posted the other day.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff still happens way too frequently, especially way too frequently for a game that they've had this long to work on, and a game that is as tenured as this one is, right? I mean, this engine has a lot of games on it, and it shouldn't have this kind of issue at this point. So yeah, that's a major issue, and that's sort of it's one of the funnier problems with the game, right? And so it gets a lot of play. The game is better. That's the problem. Is the game is better than the game is better than it has been, but all of those glitches and physics issues and stuff really bring it down from where it should be, which is disappointing because you'd think that would be one of the things that they work on getting right because it's been a problem for a long time. That being said, the other issue that the multi-man or that the ladder match brings out is that multi-man matches against the computer are still an absolute disaster. Just a real slog. Anytime in the career mode, you come up again in the career mode, which is called My Rise, or any of the single player modes, when you come across a multi-man match, it's just you might as well expect to just beat your head against the wall for 10 minutes or 15 minutes because with a tag match, you can at least, make sure before you go for a pin that you knock the opponent's tag partner off the apron, and then that puts them out of the match for a while. But in an 8-person match where everybody's in the ring at the same time, it's an exercise in frustration to try and actually win the match because you're constantly either getting your pin broken up or getting knocked off the ladder whenever you try to go up it. AI in the Royal Rumble is terrible. I did a 30-man Royal Rumble the other night, and my character came in at number 27. There was a period of time so that the screen will only hold 8 wrestlers at once, and the Rumble is obviously a 30-man event. So the way the game handles that is early on, until there are 8 wrestlers in the ring, it's got quicker intervals that it sends new people down. But then once 8 people are in the ring, obviously the ring won't hold or they can't show anybody else on the screen, so it stops the counter. Basically, nobody new comes in. And we had a spot in the middle of that Rumble where literally, I think we were on participant 9, so one person had been eliminated, and we sat on that for 15 minutes because none of the AI-controlled wrestlers went for eliminations. The way the Rumble works, you have to throw somebody over the rope. None of them tried that. So despite the fact that nearly everyone in the ring was at low or very low health, no one attempted to throw anybody out of the ring, so you just sat waiting for, like I said, literally 15 minutes for someone to get eliminated so that a new person could come in. That Rumble took 45 minutes for me to finish because of situations like that. And that's obviously an issue. I'll say the AI in one-on-one matches and tag matches isn't nearly as bad, but once you get over, when you have 4 people all in the ring at the same time and it's not tag rules or more, it's incredibly frustrating. The other thing that's frustrating is the game allows for mixed tags, where you can have a male and female wrestler on the same team against another male and female wrestler. The rules for mixed tags in WWE are that when the female wrestler is in the ring, the other female wrestler has to come in the ring and vice versa, so that the male wrestlers can't interact with the female wrestlers generally. So, as you can imagine, that really blows things up in the tag matches because, as I just mentioned, one of the strategies to being able to successfully complete a tag match is to make sure that your opponent's tag partner is incapacitated when you pin your opponent. And you can't do that directly in a mixed tag match. So what ends up happening is you end up having to get lucky with your computer controlled partner basically doing something that knocks out the other computer controlled partner long enough for you to get a pin. It's very difficult to manage it directly in that circumstance. So it's frustrating because every one of the single player modes also incorporates multi-man matches. And so you can't avoid it. It's not like you can just say, well, I just won't ever play matches like that. every one of the single player modes, including My Rise, includes multi-man matches, so you can't get away from it. Outside of that, the modes are what you would expect. There's what they call My Faction, which is the card collection mode. It's, a card collection mode. It's exactly what you would expect out of a 2K card collection mode.
Microtransactions.
Yes, definitely microtransactions.
Also, 2K's calling in. They told you to get good at the game.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that will be some of the feedback that I get, but the reality is it's just not fun at all. Let me just quickly, I'll come back to my main point here, but quickly on modes, you've got the card collection, My Faction mode. You've got My Rise, which is the career mode, which is okay. The voice acting's a little bit suspect. You start out in the performance center with Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg as your trainers. It's okay. A lot of it plays out over social media. You've got, challenges that'll happen or little storylines that'll happen. Universe mode, they did add something really cool to Universe mode. So for people who haven't played the games before, Universe mode is basically has been basically a sandbox where it's a persistent universe. So the game will schedule shows and matches, and you can make adjustments to it as you want. You can pick winners and stuff like that. But then it'll like build rivalries almost organically, depending on how many times people have wrestled and what kind of matches they've wrestled in. But they added a new wrinkle to that this year where you can it's called Superstar mode, where you just pick one superstar to follow through the universe. And so it's more like Road to the Show in MLB The Show. You don't get to book, quote unquote. If you do the Superstar mode, you're just basically on a ride. And your wrestler will get scheduled for different things. There is a thing that pops up every 4 weeks or so that lets you like request if you want a title match and stuff like that. But that's actually pretty fun. I enjoyed my time with the Superstar version of the Universe mode. The regular Universe mode isn't really something that appeals to me. I respect what it does, but it's just not a mode that I like to spend a lot of time in. There's My GM, which is people have been asking for a GM mode in these games for a long time. You pick a general manager, you pick a brand, and it's your job to beat another general manager and their brand in the ratings every week. And so you have a budget and you have different things you can book on the show within your budget. You have to draft wrestlers to your show and make the right choices with a limited
as Vince fires them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And there is actually a note in the tutorial that tells you if you're running short on money, you can release wrestlers to get some of their contract money back, which I thought was funny.
Or shizzle.
But that mode would, I think, be better. But it's limited, so you can do from 15 weeks up to 50 weeks, and I can't remember the delineations between. There's some options in between that. I can't remember exactly what they are, but the shortest version you can do is 15 weeks, and the longest you can do is 50. And it's fun if you like EWR or booking simulators like that, where you can sort of draft people, build a show around it, and try to get the best ratings that you can. There's some limitations to it. You can only have one champion on each brand, one male and one female champion on each brand, which is absurd considering the number of championships in WWE now. Another frustrating thing is the mode is heavily built around match ratings. So when you book a match between two wrestlers, it looks at what type of wrestler they are, and whether they're a baby face or a heel, a good guy or a bad guy, and gives a star rating based on how it expects the match played out. You can jump in and play matches yourself, and in every other mode in the game will show you what the star rating of your match is as the match is playing out. But in the one mode where the star rating actually makes a difference, they don't show you the star rating as the match is playing out. And I don't know if maybe they just don't want you to cheat against the computer by playing every single match. But if you're that afraid of that, then put something in to mitigate it. Don't take away a feature that is pretty important, like being able to see what the star rating of the match is as you're playing it out. So with all that said, Creation Suite, by the way, is awesome. It's as deep as you would expect it to be, but the load times on the Creation Suite are god awful. Even on Series X, it takes forever to load. Between not just like after you're finished with something, as you're moving through the menus and as you're selecting different pieces to put on your creator wrestler, it takes a while. So that's a bit frustrating. Also, any mode that involves created wrestlers, the load times get bogged down pretty quick. You go from maybe 5 to 10 seconds to get into a match to 20 to 25 seconds to get into a match, which doesn't sound like a long time, but is a long time when you're sitting there waiting on it. So all that said, the primary issue I have with the game still is that it doesn't look like professional wrestling. Like when you watch either the AI or when you play a match with another player, the thing that this series has always struggled with is that it never looks like an actual professional wrestling match. And that's because the game's built like a fighting game. And all the modes are built like fighting game modes where the objective every time is win the match, right? And that's just not what professional wrestling is. So, you know, I much prefer Fire Pro Wrestling because Fire Pro Wrestling understands what pro wrestling is. And there are actually controls in Fire Pro Wrestling that you can use to allow your opponent to complete moves on you, because that's what professional wrestling is. And so it's much more about putting a believable match together than actually winning the match. And WWE 2K is just not like that. It's a game for mainstream professional wrestling fans, casual, I'll say, professional wrestling fans. And it's built to be kind of an arcadey fighting game, which is fine. But it kind of strips out, I think, a layer of believability when every match is just a race to see who can beat the other person up faster. And that's more of a stylistic choice than anything. Doesn't have anything to do with sort of their budget or their ability or anything like that. It's just that's the style of game that they want to make. But it's not my favorite because of that. So, and that also bleeds into some other things. You know, the career mode is presented completely in kayfabe, meaning it's completely as if professional wrestling was real. There's a really cool, I should have mentioned that already. Sorry, this is the last point I'll make because I've been talking for a while. The showcase mode this year is really cool. It's all centered around Rey Mysterio. And so it starts with him a pretty famous match with Eddie Guerrero from WCW at Halloween Havoc. And the presentation on it is exceptionally cool because in the past, the game would give you objectives to meet in these showcase modes. And then the game, once you met the objectives, or once you met like one part of an objective, the game would basically take over for a minute, and you would see the AI control the wrestlers to make it look like what actually happened in the match. In this one, that still happens. So one of your objectives might be, okay, Irish whip Eddie Guerrero in the ring. And when you grab him and Irish whip him, the AI takes over and it starts with the actual rendered professional wrestlers starting to do the move, and then seamlessly transitions into the actual live action video from the event. So you'll see, Eddie Guerrero get, thrown into the ropes, for example, and the game just seamlessly moves right into the actual footage from the match. You watch the actual footage from the match for 30 or 40 seconds while Rey Mysterio talks over top of it. and then a move will happen and it'll seamlessly move you right back into gameplay. And it is a really cool way to do one of these showcase modes. The only problem I have with it, and again, this is a stylistic choice more than anything else, is all the commentary for Rey Mysterio is done as if professional wrestling is real. And it's a little bit frustrating because WWE doesn't even present itself that way in the documentaries that they put together. And so you have what is essentially a documentary of Rey Mysterio walking through important matches in his career. And instead of getting insight on how the match was put together or what was going through his mind in real life while the match was playing out, you get this completely unbelievable presentation as if the match was real. And if, he was genuinely felt like he was fighting against Eddie Guerrero. And it's, I understand, I guess, why they do that, because there's kids out there that don't know professional wrestling isn't real. But man, oh man, it certainly makes the mode less cool than it could be. One of the things that WWE has done successfully over the years is put together outstanding documentaries and match commentaries and stuff. And for them to have this opportunity and tie it up in making Rey Mysterio, of all people, sit here and talk about the match as if it was a real fight is just, it comes across a little disingenuous and makes the mode have less impact than it should. But from a visual presentation wise, it is phenomenal how they've managed to seamlessly weave in the live action footage. So all in all, the game is much, much, much better than 2K20. It is, I will say, in some ways better than 2K19, in some ways about the same, and in some ways a little bit worse. But we are now 4 years out from 2K19, right? So I can't in good conscience give this game the same review that I would have given to 2K19, knowing that we're 4 years later and still have the same problems. But it will definitely get a much higher score from me than 2K20. So because they definitely improved on that game. But again, that's not saying much. And that was the WWE 2K22 review, since I've been talking for forever. And some people may have tuned out.
Will this be one of those, like, you put some timestamps in here if you not interested in wrestling? Although I am. I'm always interested to see how these games turn out every year.
Like a dumpster fire, goddammit.
Yeah, I mean, Ken, from your perspective, if you wanted something where you and your son could just sit down and goof around and play with the Ultimate Warrior, and run some matches and have some fun, I will say the most fun I had with this game was playing one-on-one against my son and just doing fun stuff and goofy stuff and throwing each other off high things. The game is really great for that. It really is. It's all the single-player content that starts to sort of let it down. And then the glitches and stuff obviously take on a different tone when you're playing against another person in the same room and you can both laugh at it together versus when you're trying to finish an objective with an AI-controlled opponent and the game's fighting against you.
My son's only question to this game will be, does it have John Cena?
It does.
He doesn't even watch wrestling.
But he loves John Cena.
But he loves John Cena. I don't.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely does have John Cena.
Okay. Well, then he would be set.
So, yeah, that's it. I'll say, the version that I played was the NWO for Life version, which comes with 4 additional characters in the NWO for Life pack, and then some designs and some arenas. It also comes with the Undertaker DLC that I already mentioned. Comes with a new or an additional version of Rey Mysterio from Starrcade 1996, and comes with both a thing that unlocks all of the legends and unlockable content in the game, and comes with an accelerator for your My Rise career mode character. I'll say I didn't use the accelerator for my rise because I wanted to get a sense for how progression worked. It's pretty slow, and it reminds me of the other 2K games in terms of how quickly you can unlock currency compared to how much stuff there is to unlock. It's built to sell you virtual currency or sell you this accelerator for sure. It's not quite as egregious as a couple years ago, quite honestly, it's not quite as egregious as the NBA games, but it is definitely calibrated to try to convince you to buy microtransaction virtual currency or their accelerators.
Fun times.
And now I'm done for real.
Okay.
Speaking of microtransactions, Ken.
What's that?
I said, speaking of microtransactions, Ken.
Michael transactions is what I call them. I'll get to that game in a minute. I got a lot of stuff to go through, so I'm going to try to go through fast. I'll hammer out the indies first. We got Splash Cars, which is essentially Splatoon, but you're just driving a car. Basically, the car just constantly goes, and it paints whatever it passes, and you're given like this little diorama level to play in. The objective is to paint as much as you can before the time limit is up. There's also like obstacles like cop cars and stuff. It's not bad. I actually had fun with it, but I probably will never play it again. Dungeon Color is a game where you look like a mixture like Casper the Friendly Ghost and the Michelin Man had a baby, and you are basically lighting yourself on fire to change colors, colored doors. Like you light up the orange one to unlock the orange doors, but then you got to figure out how to get to the end of the room. It's fine. Retro Pixel Racers. I booted it up and none of the buttons worked, so I couldn't play it. I even booted it twice, reset my system. The game just would not let me start a game. So, Cosmos Bit is what you get if Radaleka published a Metroid game that was very low poly budget. Like, this game feels a lot like Metroid, but just not there. Will You Snail is a game where you're a snail and you're trying to escape from this room, and there's this big narrator yelling at you the entire time. It's kind of trippy. You can put on a top hat on your snail, and that's kind of rad. 100 Bullets is a game where this is an interesting game. This reminds me of something similar to like a Geometry Wars, where you're just constantly trying to accomplish a twitch. So the premise is you're this little ship, you're in this circle, you have to move, and every time you move, you shoot a bullet. But the goal is that you have to empty the entire 100 bullets without stopping moving, and you cannot hit the bullets, because the bullets will bounce around the level and like ricochet off of things. So the objective is that you just move and shoot and avoid the bullets that you're shooting, which I thought was pretty cool. The Last Cube is actually a really cool game where it's a puzzle game where you're a cube moving on a grid, and the objective is to figure out how to move the cube in a specific way in order to hit certain targets. But it's actually really cool. I got a sneeze brewing and it's killing me on the inside because I'm like, I don't know if it's going to hit, what's going to happen. Return 2 Runaway is a 2D side-scrolling survival horror game. You've seen a lot of those style games. This one's pretty much the same kind of jam. Aztec Forgotten Gods is a third-person action-adventure game made by Lienzo, who are the guys that also did, what was the Cat Metroidvania? They did that, and they also did, another game. They've done like 3 different games, and they've all been good. This is my
Gato Roboto? Is that the...
No, not Gato Roboto.
Oh.
I totally... That's Devolver. But... God, what was... It was a Cat Metroidvania. Kind of looked like a cartoon. I don't know. If you look up Lienzo, you'll see the games that they've made. I think they've made like 3 different games. They're this South American development team. Aztec Forgotten Gods is probably my least favorite of their games. It's got a cool premise, got a cool story. I like the concept, but like when you play it, it just doesn't feel tight. feels real loose, and I don't know. It didn't feel good to play. One of the weirdest games I played this week, and if you Google this, Anthony, I'm sure you will enjoy this box art, which is very interesting. This game is called Radioactive Dwarfs: Evil from the Sewers, and this is reminds me of like an old Amiga game or Atari 2600 game where it's like a top-down view, and you're this woman going through the sewers, and there's these dwarves that pop up, and you got to shoot them. It's real simple, it's real basic, but it's got like this, I don't know, like 1920s kind of vibe art style to it that I kind of dig.
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah, like I actually enjoyed this game.
I'm impressed by the art. Yeah, it reminds me of those old like early DOS games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like what's Chip's Challenge type of thing.
Yep. It reminded me a lot of Dusk 82, which comes with Dusk. The recent one. Yeah, it's very much in that vein.
And what's it called one more time?
Radioactive Dwarfs: Evil from the Sewers. Yeah. Say that 3 times fast. Frightened. So this is a weird game. This is one of those first-person horror kind of adventure games. But in this game, you're the maintenance man for an apartment building, and you have to go and do the maintenance on these rooms, but there's going to be like horror shit going on. It's kind of a weird mix-up, but interesting. And then RPG
reminds me in context of that game on Steam where you clean up after first-person shooters.
Oh,
Has anybody seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
And then the last indie game I'll talk about is RPG Time: The Legend of Wright. This game is really interesting. I didn't get as much time to play this as I wanted to because the code came in later. But imagine a kid who is obsessed with RPGs, so he draws out this D&D campaign in his notebook, and that's kind of what you're doing. Like, if you look at the art style, it's literally his notebook. And when he does the voices of, like, the dragon and the princess, it's a picture of him with, like, a headband on of the character's face. And, like, he's narrating you through the adventure. It's, like, in black and white sometimes. It looks like it was sketched in a notebook. It's really cool. But I haven't got as much time to play that as I did some of the other stuff. I got it late on Saturday, and I was busy setting up some other stuff, so I'm probably going to go back and play that. So I'll hop over to the Switch real quick. I've got a couple. I've got one really big game to talk about, but I want to get through some of this other stuff. So I bought Chex Quest HD because I was excited that it was finally on a console. It only came to Switch. It's $5. Don't buy it. We all know the Switch is not a machine that is capable of handling shit, but you think it could handle, a DOS game from a long time ago. This game runs like sub 30 frames per second. It's really not well optimized. So it's just, I don't know. And I booted up F-Zero for the Nintendo 64 Switch Online expansion. F-Zero still rules on the Nintendo 64. F-Zero just rules, period, and they should bring that series back.
Yes.
Alright. I spent a lot of my time this week playing Elden Ring.
You disgust me.
I took out the first...
Who the fuck are you?
I took out the first Elden Lord. I took out Margit. It was only my second try. Of course, I had played the game for 8 hours before I fought him. Which most people tried to go straight there and fight him. I did a whole lot of shit before I went and fought him. The first time I fought him, I died. I went in by myself and just used my my newest Ash, which was the Rottweiler. It's a dog that attacks and it leaves rot behind to overtime damage. I got beat in that match, so I went back in and I summoned an AI, and then I used my my 3 wolves, and just kind of kept at bay, attacking him with my magic, and I took him down. And that's the first time that I discovered the part of that game where once you defeat a boss, then there's like this little castle area that you have to go through, and it straight up turns into fucking Dark Souls then. Like, you can't ride your horse, it's not open world, it's linear, and I got frustrated with that and left. And that's the nice thing about this game, is that I could just walk away from that section. So now I'm in another area of the map, dicking around, trying to farm some souls runes. Apologies to the souls faithful. I'm trying to farm some runes so I can level up. I'm only like a level 32, I think. So, I gotta get up there so I can one-shot bosses like all the cool kids on YouTube. I want to do that someday. Use my super spells. Anyway, no, I've played this game a hell of a lot, and I can't even fathom that I would be the one playing the Souls game this year. Like, that's weird to me. Alright. There's an embargo dropping Monday morning of another game that I've been playing. I have been playing Ghostwire Tokyo.
Did you talk about Chocobo?
Oh shit, no, let's go back to Chocobo. I forgot about Chocobo.
That's the reason why I was like, speaking of microtransactions.
Okay, let's talk about Chocobo first. Chocobo GP. So Drew is reviewing it, and he messaged us, and it was right around the time I picked it up. First off, might be one of the best title screen songs. It's like up there with like some Sonic shit. It's like really good. The gameplay's really good. Like it feels good. It's fun. But holy shit, what is going on with this game? This game is a mess of microtransactions and like, oh man, like if you want this character, you got to participate in this event, and you got to do these things, and you got to. I think Drew was saying something like he'd have to grind for like 40 races to unlock one character, or
Cloud, yeah,
you can just buy it.
It sounds like a mobile game.
Exactly, but this game is $40.
I thought it's 50.
No, it's 40 here. It's probably 50 in Canada, but yeah, it's $40 here, and it's just littered with And you go back to it and you think about this, and you go, Chocobo GP launches this week, $40, got all this microtransaction crap, and then by the way, Mario Kart 8, is going to get 48 new tracks for $25. And it's just like, Chocobo GP is not even nearly as good as Mario Kart 8. Like, it's good, but it ain't that good.
Okay. Alright. So, give me a second here. I am looking at the US store.
I'm pretty sure it's $40, right?
$50, $49.99.
God, why did I think it was $40?
I don't know. There's a free version called Chocobo GP Lite.
Which, by the way, that's what it's called when you buy it, but, like, it supposedly contains extra stuff if you pay for it. Yeah, you're right, it is $50, but why did I think it was $40?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it doesn't have very good ratings. So it's a kart racing it's developed by Eureka, which is weird. See, when they first announced this, I thought it was a remake of the PlayStation 1 game, but it's more like a new style game. So I don't know. I ain't down with this. Like, I was really disappointed in this $40 game that is already like shoving all of these microtransactions into my face.
It's a shame.
It is a shame because I played it and I was like, this plays really good. Like, the music is good, the character selection's good. There's a bunch of tracks in here. Like, this is fun. But, like, all of this stuff surrounding it just feels gross. So I was super disappointed. Oh, one other thing I played before I switch over to Ghostwire. I downloaded that Stranger of Paradise demo that will transfer save data over to the final game. I am 100% down with this game, and I chuckled when I booted it up, because it says, what difficulty do you? Because if you don't know what this is a first game, takes place during like Final Fantasy 1, but it's like a action game, but it's like a Souls game. So it is that you die, you lose this stuff. But there's options for difficulty, and then there's even an option for what they call a casual mode. So even if you put it on easy difficulty, you can turn on the casual mode, and guess what they did? You want to guess?
You get more health and the enemies get less?
No, you don't lose your XP when you die.
Oh.
So like if you had runes or souls in Dark Souls, like when you die, you just don't lose them.
Interesting.
That mechanic that would ruin the Souls games, right?
Yes.
If it was an option. Hey, I'm having a ball with Elden Ring, but I'm still the pro. Like, allow me to have Did you see the UI discourse that happened this week? Because the Ubisoft people were like mad about the UI in Elden Ring.
No, I did not.
Yeah, like there was 3 developers, one from Battlefield, one from Ubisoft, and I forget who the third one was, like pissed because Elden Ring did so well and like the UI is almost non-existent. Like there's not shit on the map showing you where it is kind of thing.
Yep.
And I just kind of chuckled. I'm like, I'm still all for let people turn that on or turn it off. Like I'm pro options. I'm pro easy mode. I'm pro accessibility. Even though I am still enjoying Elden Ring, I just thought it was funny. Because Stranger Paradise lets you do all of that stuff. Like, it lets you play on the hard mode. It lets you, be punished for being killed. But you can also play it the other way. And I'm going to tell you this right now. That game is dumb as shit, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, I've heard about the, animations for, when you kill something. Being pretty crazy and over the top.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Like you stomp on something and it just turns into 1,000 red crystal shards, and the dialogue of your main character is just, it's like 90s cringe, dude. It's so stupid, and you almost wonder if it's on purpose.
I have to assume it's on purpose.
You'd have to think so, because I don't know if you've seen the thing going around about how the 3 characters meet. It's literally 20 seconds of them bumping into each other, and they're all like, hey, we all got the same crystal. They bump fists and say, we're going to go kill Chaos. That's how they meet. It's awesome. It's all of a 10-second conversation. It's hilarious. But I'm having a ball with this game, seeing enemies from Final Fantasy games in an action game, and it plays really well. I like this game. I can't wait to play it. I played through the demo. I've got my save file. I'm going to play it when it comes out. I think it's out next week or maybe this week. I don't remember. But I did play through that demo, and I'm super stoked to play that game when it comes out. All right, now, sorry for the tease. It's Ghostwire Tokyo. Do you want to know anything before I jump into it? I feel like this game, before I played it, I knew it was coming. I kind of knew what it was, but at the same time, I kind of really didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I know very little about it, so
okay.
I'm good to just listen to what your impressions are.
So, it's Tango Jam, so you kind of know what to expect. But this is very much a, since Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring are now what the purists call truly open world games. Ghostwire Tokyo is more of a checklist map game. So, the game is a first-person, I'd say action/adventure. There's a little bit of platforming, there's a little bit of adventure, and there's a little bit of combat, but it's definitely not fully focused on combat. I'm only allowed to talk about the first 2 chapters, which is fine, because I'm just a little past chapter 2. But the combat is basically you get different elemental attacks. So the first one you get is wind, then you get you get fire second, then you get water. And the combat is not really twitchy, like Doom. It's more I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. there's a button that you can press to kind of lock onto the enemy, because it's not necessarily about your aiming as much as it is about knowing which element to use and kind of how to play out the battle. You also do have a parry. So like if an enemy gets close to you and tries to do a melee attack, you can press the L1 button, kind of parry their attack, and eventually you can upgrade to allow that to give you like XP when you do it, or refill like your ammo, because ammo is only earned by killing enemies or destroying like these premonitions around the world. Once you get an enemy down so far, you can hold L2 to kind of suck up their soul, which gives you more XP and gives you a boost. And again, you can use the skill tree to upgrade how fast it goes and how much more stuff you get back from doing that ability. There's a lot going on. One of the things I love about this game is just how fucked up it is. Like, it's very much a combination of like Japanese horror and just kind of Tango Gameworks' like cerebral horror, where you're walking down a hallway and the fucking room flips upside down, or some shit just changes like monochromatic or something just to mess with you, and like the enemy designs are exactly what you expect. The dude without a face with an umbrella, the schoolgirls with no heads running at you. It's just really kind of trippy. And there's also a ton of stuff that you will get. Eventually you'll get this little paper doll that allows you to capture the soul. So if you don't know the story, like it takes place in Tokyo, and this event happens that basically wipes out 99% of the population. Some of them just disappear. Some of them turn into these souls. And you're playing this character who his sister is in like this hospital, and the main bad guys grab her and take her to this like other world, and he's trying to chase her down. And in the process of that, he gets possessed by this other character called KK, who I'm assuming eventually you'll find out, you know, what he was before. And then you get his paranormal abilities, and that's how you can throw, you know, the different elementals and stuff. But that's kind of how they explain, like, you're walking around Tokyo without, you know, like, people just everywhere. And it kind of works into that. The thing I like is, like, it is a checklist game. It is, you know, go here, do this thing. But there's also these side missions that you can do, and they're marked on the map very plainly. And they're just interesting. So I'll just give you an example of a couple of them. I had this one where this little girl, and most of the time you're doing side missions for these spirits. So one of the spirits was this little girl. She's like, oh, my grandmother's umbrella. You know, it means so much to me, you know, but now it's turned into a yokai, so I need you to go catch it. So basically you have to go into this big open field and hide behind somewhere until the umbrella appears. And holy shit, this is the greatest animation ever. It's an umbrella with two legs that is skipping and whistling like around the open area. And basically you just have to crouch and sneak up behind it and grab it. And then there was another mission where I ran into this tanuki, and he said, my tanuki brothers are hiding around the world, and you just have to find them because you can see their tails hanging out of certain areas.
Do they have the testicles?
The testicles. The tanuki testicles?
God. Hold on.
I'm confused what you're asking here.
We're right back to where we started this whole podcast.
All about the balls?
Yep.
Tanuki statues. Big balls.
Oh,
It's a thing.
no, I don't think that's in there. Sorry.
Alright. Probably for the best.
Yeah, for sure. But no, it's a lot of stuff like that. It is your kind of standard open world, but what makes it interesting is that it's like the theme of like the paranormal Tokyo stuff, and it's interesting so far. I'm gonna obviously play some more, but I like what I've played so far, and I think it's a very interesting game, and I will be interested to see where it goes. So, but no, that's a lot of what I've been playing over the past couple weeks. So let's talk about what's coming out this week. Monster Energy Supercross. So this is Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5. We got Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 5. So they've made 5 of these. I didn't even know there was 4 of them already. Dawn of the Monsters, which is that Way Forward game. Grand Theft Auto Online and Grand Theft Auto 5 for PS5 and Series X. Paradise Killer. The Moose Man. Hey, guess what's finally coming out? Tunic!
I don't even know what that is.
You don't remember Tunic? It's that indie game from Xbox that everybody said was like Zelda, but ended up when the demo came out, it was more like Souls.
I don't remember that at all, but I believe you.
Yep, that's what it was. But it's finally out this week. Royal Frontier, and finally Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. So I guess that is out this week. PS5 is all the same stuff, as well as Anno Mutationum. Whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Alright. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, a lot of the same stuff, but also Phantom Breaker Omnia, The Cruel King and the Great Hero, The Wanderer, Frankenstein's Creation, Arcade Archives Rolling Thunder.
Oh man, Rolling Thunder is a great game.
Yeah, I might have to pick that one up. I don't do a lot of the Arcade Archives, but Rolling Thunder I might be down for. Curious Expedition 2, Highlands of Avalon, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Star Tenders, Kowloon High School Chronicle, Royal Frontier, I already said that, and Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. Let's see if Xbox has anything that's not on PlayStation. Did I say Phantom Breaker Omnia? That's coming out as well.
You did, yes.
Okay, yeah, that's the fighting game. That's coming out for everything. The only other thing on Xbox that's not on PlayStation here is Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus?
What?
That's the name of the game. Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus?
Okay.
Alright, Nintendo Switch, always the fun part. We got Drag Clash Pro Hot Rod Racing.
Hold on. Who pressed mute on Uncle Marcus? An eccentric FMV murder mystery with a twist. Someone has poisoned Uncle Marcus. Uncover the truth in the yearly family quiz and try to save him before it's too late.
Okay. Disco Elysium, the Final Cut Collector's Edition. MacGuffin's Curse. The Cruel King and the Great Hero. Ooh, the most Switch game. Wife Quest.
Oh god.
Adios. Rolling Thunder's also coming to the Switch. Boxing Gym Story. Dark Deity. Another booby game. Galgun Double Piece. Lost Egg 2 Be Together. My Lady Seiyo Zetai Kunshu. The Ramp. The Wake. Fingun. Inukari Chase of Deception. Jumping Bricks Ball. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. Sea Battle Minimal. And also Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus. So those are your games. Those are your games. What the fuck is this? Okay. Anno Mutationum.
It actually looks pretty good. Also, a real headline was Naughty Metroidvania Wife Quest launches on Switch in March.
Holy shit. Naughty Metroidvania Wife Quest. By the way, we have an email about Nintendo Switch and booby games later on, so we'll get there. All right. You ready to do some news? Let's do some news. The team at EA Motive has confirmed the Dead Space remake has been pushed back to 2023. So, we will not be seeing that for a while. In the news, I know you were all excited about. I know this was the biggest thing that you all heard this week. Overwatch 2 beta is finally real. It's coming at the end of April. How excited is everybody on this show?
Drew's not here, so I'll say Drew has no interest.
What are you, his fucking PR person now?
Absolutely.
I'm excited. I'm not going to play the beta because it's on PC only, and I don't play on PC, but it feels good to finally have Overwatch news. It gives me confidence that that game may actually come out this millennium, but we'll see. Nintendo has announced they have delayed Advanced Wars 1 and 2 due to the current ongoing conflict in Ukraine. I don't know
Probably
how,
the best decision.
yeah, I guess I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I respect
It's an
what they're...
unnecessary choice, but I respect the decision to be like, yeah, time's not for war stuff.
That's kind of where I am. Like, I didn't feel like they needed to do it, but I don't hate that they did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotham Knights has a release date. It's scheduled for October 25th. So, I'm
Still
interested
have
to
no
see.
real idea what the fuck that game is. So.
I'm interested to see what it is and how it turns out. I will definitely play it. Forspoken has been delayed until October. So, also, by the way, Kim, to find out that is a 2-year console exclusive, which is the dumbest fucking thing on the planet. Why even make it a 2-year exclusive? If it's on a system only for 2 years, just fucking leave it there. In 2 years, nobody's gonna give a shit about Forspoken. You know, no offense to Forspoken, could be an amazing game, but who the fuck's gonna want to play it in 2 years? I don't know. Such a weird thing.
Yep.
God of War is getting a TV series. It's coming to Amazon, and it's being headed by the same people that did The Expanse.
I don't want this to be a thing.
I don't think we need any of this stuff to be a thing.
I really just, don't do this.
There are too many video game projects in the works, and I'm just like, dude, I've already played the game, and I know exactly what you're going to do.
Not even that. I don't think it's going to be good.
I mean, The Expanse is good. Maybe it'll still be good.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, Kratos has been voiced exclusively by black actors. And, you are now going to try to get someone to be that character. But, are you changing his race? I mean, he's Greek, so really, he has a bit of color in his skin anyways. He's not, white, but still, now we're playing into the, how are you even going to get close to this?
I don't know.
Are you going to sound like what he sounds like, or is it just don't do it. Don't do the thing.
I mean, to be fair, he is pure white because he's covered in his ashes.
Yeah, I know, he's covered in ashes. You could have anybody as long as they gray him up enough, but it's just I just don't want that fight to happen.
By the way, is that not
because I don't think it's going to be good.
Is that not one of the darkest fucking things about Kratos?
Yeah. 100%.
He's just fucking covered in his dead wife and son. By the way, spoiler for a game from fucking...
Isn't his daughter?
I thought it was both. I thought he killed both.
Oh.
Yeah,
no, I thought you were about to say son.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, his wife and his daughter. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's I don't think those games needed to be games to tell the story, but I just don't think now the story's been told in the games that you're going to do a good job. It's the same with Last of Us.
I'll tell you, if they were making a God of War...
I like Pedro Pascal, so it's just one of those don't.
If you were making a God of War TV show that accounted for what happened between the original trilogy and the reboot, I'd totally watch that. I would be interested to see what Kratos did in between there.
I am interested, but I just don't trust a television show to do any justice. The Witcher is the standout, not the norm. You know,
it's the exception, not the rule.
And yeah, the exception, not the norm. And to be fair, that's kind of based on more off of a book, not the game.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they could always get David Jaffe to come in and do
Oh God, it's like the Twisted Metal. Don't make a Twisted Metal show. How is that going to be entertaining?
Dude, I have to watch that just to watch the
you
train
need-
wreck that it's going to be, because I know it's going to be
Car
bad.
crash. Car crash is a more accurate statement, but yes.
Hey, congratulations, you're making jokes too.
Mm.
I'm proud of you.
But I'm not. I think these are all terrible ideas. It's out of anger.
All right, I know you know the answer to this next thing. I'm going to move into the news story, Anthony, so you can't answer. But Ryan, if you had to pick right now what you think the best-selling game of 2022 is, what would you pick?
Elden Ring. But I already know.
Oh, you already knew,
That.
you son of a bitch.
Fun fact, I didn't remember.
Oh, I think this shocks me more than anything because Pokemon came out this year.
Pokemon.
Like,
That's
Yeah, but
right, I remember
Pokemon's
this conversation.
Only on the Switch.
it is only on the Switch, but it's still fucking Pokemon.
It's also a spinoff.
It's still fucking Pokemon.
That doesn't matter. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, but Pokemon Ranger didn't set the world on fire. It's a spinoff. It's not a mainline series. You see returns with mainline games.
Elden Ring is the best-selling game in 2022, and it's the best-selling game in the past 12 months outside of Call of Duty Vanguard. And it's been out.
Yeah.
It's been out less than a month.
The hype is real, man.
The hype is real, and these games are no longer niche.
Yeah,
yeah, and I
that
mean,
has
it-
been niche for a while.
Well, it hasn't.
I mean-
It hasn't been this ever.
So the reality is a huge part of. So there's debate always, right? Not just in this community, but also in other communities. I'll use professional wrestling as an example. Every now
As
and then,
is tradition.
you'll. Huh?
Sorry, I said as is tradition.
As is tradition. There's a so it seems like once a year at least we have a situation in professional wrestling where one of the major companies gets mad at people posting GIFs or short videos of their content online in an unofficial way, right? And one of the companies gets mad and they strike a whole bunch of stuff and people end up losing their GIFs or their videos or whatever. And they forget that the most effective advertising in 2022 are GIFs and short videos on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Elden Ring proves that point more than just about anything else, because I don't know if your guys' social media is like this, but mine has been dominated by Elden Ring
Oh,
for
100%.
the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It gives the impression that literally you are the only person in the world that isn't playing this game.
I'm going to keep it that way.
This game
And
is the highlight of FOMO for sure.
100%. That builds a ton of hype to the point where, despite the fact that the sequel to one of my favorite games, at least of the year it came out, and definitely of the console generation, came out, and there's a part of me that is like, man, should I just buy Elden Ring and play that now and save Horizon for later?
Yeah. Who the fuck working at Sony is like, let's release Horizon not once, but twice during the most talked about game in fucking forever.
I know. It drives me crazy. But hey, at least Horizon got a sequel. Hopefully this one gets a sequel too. I'm sure it will.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
it's sold well enough. But the yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at all that it's the best-selling game because, like I said, I can't look anywhere without being hit over the head with Elden Ring.
It's crazy to me. It just is.
Yeah.
Like we've never, as long as we've been doing this show, and we've been doing this show so long that we have been here for the entire Souls fandom, the whole
Literally
phenomenon.
the entire thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like we have never talked about one of these games being one of the best-selling games of all time. Like, I
No.
mean, this game is huge. It's the biggest release outside of Call of Duty, and we don't usually, the games we're usually talking about for that are Mario Kart,
FIFA.
NBA, and Mortal Kombat was one of them.
Yeah.
Like, we've never talked about a From game in this context, and that's why it's crazy to me.
And did you see that they don't really, like, the pay to work there sucks? I saw that last night.
Oh, really?
Like, it's
From Software?
yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Well, Namco, we had a story a couple weeks ago about Namco Bandai actually upping the salaries after the success of Elden Ring.
I'm sure they had to, because like from my understanding, like in the same city, janitors get paid more.
I can tell you that that team, Microsoft and Sony are probably banging their doors down right now about an exclusive game.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, Sony has the series. They just need a new game in that series.
Yeah, they have Bloodborne, but From has continuously said that they're not interested in going back to Bloodborne. So, I mean, there's a reason why Peppa Pig has a 4K 60 frames next-gen update and Bloodborne does not. Okay? Also, Peppa
Pig is the shit. That's
the
why.
Dark Souls of...
I don't even know anything about Peppa Pig other than it's from the UK. I really have no idea. I just know the memes.
Peppa Pig is the Dark Souls of pigs. There we go. That's what we'll do. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. You know, kudos to Miyazaki and his team. Like, they've never bowed to anybody. Like, they just make the fucking games they want to make. And I respect that. I do. I still think they would benefit from the accessibility stuff, but hey, man, your game is good. I'm glad to see. I will be very interested to see if they made an Elden Ring 2, if it would sell as much, because I wonder how many of the people that bought it, like, got to the Tree Sentinel and was like, oh, fuck this game.
Yeah, I wonder how many people bought it because they saw 10 out of 10s. Oh, this is the game of a generation.
And then the first dude out in the open world riding a horse just one-shots the fuck out of you.
Yeah. Listen, I know better, but like this is where my issue comes in. You can't have this big conversation about this is one of the greatest games ever and then tell people they shouldn't play it.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Right? So you invited the difficulty conversation in, so if you don't like it, too bad.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, while I've clicked with this game more than I've clicked with any of their games since Bloodborne, I still 100% will champion that. Like, you cannot sit here and say everybody should play this when literally not everybody can play this game. Like, not just accessibility-wise, but, like, difficulty-wise. Like, some people just cannot play. And get good does not work for everybody, okay? I know you're cool. You're so fucking rad. You're like those console guys that, you know, can't stop talking about the other console. We get it. But not everybody is in that boat. So, but anyway, the last set of news that I have is totally from the State of Play that Sony had. I believe it was on Wednesday. It was about 20 minutes. It was supposedly mostly focused on Japanese developers. So we'll kind of run through this. The first thing they showed was the ultimate fucking troll. So it was a new game from Capcom. There were dinosaurs in it. There's a character in the game that looks like Regina, but guess what? It's not Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
It's called Exoprimal. It's coming to everything, so it's not an exclusive.
Yeah, well.
But it is a...
Did you undo this mistake?
It is a co-op dinosaur shooter.
Hold on, this is somebody's response to it, and I'm just going to post it in chat. It's one of my favorite. This is a new game. It's co-op, and this is the fucking picture that was underneath.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Just take me out.
Thanks, Capcom, for not only making a game that a lot of people won't be interested in, but also for basically just trolling the fuck out of the Dino Crisis community. I mean, you all saw the character, right, that looks dead on Regina. Like, she looks just like Regina from Dino Crisis.
I really know almost nothing about Dino Crisis, so...
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure you've seen, like, the main character, right? She's got the bob haircut.
Oh, is that the main character?
Yeah, that's the main character. Like, there's a character in this trailer that looks exactly like her. Like, down to the fingerless gloves, man. Like I said on Twitter, it makes me feel like this was a Dino Crisis game at one point, and Capcom was like, well, Dino Crisis won't sell as much as a cooperative shooter. And I'm just like...
Enough with the co-op. Fucking nonsense shooters.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those lately. And
most of them are bad.
Well, not only that, but can you name one that really took off? Dude,
the last one I can think of was Left 4 Dead 2.
There was already a dinosaur shooter that launched this year into early access, and guess what? Everybody forgot about it.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. Like fucking Generation Zero was the last one I played, and that was fucking bad.
Dude, Back 4 Blood was the most high-profile one, and granted, it did get 10 million players, but it was also on Game Pass.
And from the sounds of it, no one's playing it anymore.
No.
And I'm not saying that to the people that do play it, but I mean, like...
Hey, if you enjoy a game, you enjoy a game, that's fine, but I know everybody I know that played that game fell off of it in a week.
Yeah. So...
Alright. More announcements from that. We had JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R.
Is this a fighting game?
Yes. And this is like the All-Star. It's got 50 characters or some shit in it.
Yeah, I don't know. They all look the same to me. Like, that style is very...
I mean, it's very JoJo.
Interesting, but yeah, to me, it's I don't know the show, so
Dude, I have no
they're
clue.
all hyper-stylized characters that have powers.
So basically they have what's called a stand.
I know. They're called stands. I didn't want to get too much into it because I really don't know much past that. They're named after music. All I remember is that they couldn't... the guy blatantly says in Japanese, Red Hot Chili Peppers is one of the stands, I think. Or Red Hot Chili Pepper. And when you watch the official translation of it in the text, it says spicy peppers.
It says
it
says Anthony Kiedis and Flea with socks on their dicks.
Hey, give it away!
Give it away! Give it away!
So he dances without moving his upper torso.
The only my literal knowledge of JoJo is the fighting games. That's all I know about him. I've never seen the show.
Roundabout.
I've never read the comics.
The use of Yes's Roundabout is one that I know of. It was me, Dio. Or it was you, Dio, whatever. Dio. I know Dio. And then...
Holy diver!
I mean, that's what it's a reference to.
Like a rainbow in the dark.
And I know the meme where, it's the comic panel of the guy walking.
Oh, the music that's like...
No, that's Yes's Roundabout.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like that...
To be continued. No, this is from, the actual comic. The guy walking, you see behind him. It's a very weird shot. So it's, a very specific shot, and people have drawn over that a bunch of times. That's all I know.
Okay, well, maybe you'll play JoJo's Battle All-Star R.
For review? Yeah. I don't know any of these characters. The fighting's good. 7 out of 10.
There you go. Well, it's Bandai Namco, so we'll see. Returnal.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, Returnal is getting DLC as well as a co-op mode. Anybody care?
I don't have a PS5, so...
I was going to say, Anthony did a PS5. Did you even play it, Ryan?
No.
Okay.
No, that game does not seem like my type of game.
No. It's a good game. I just wish it was linear. I think I would have enjoyed it more. Square had a couple of new game announcements. They announced the Dio Field Chronicle. Is that how you say it? The Dio Field?
My turn now. What?
The Dio Field Chronicle?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but
I don't know.
that seems right.
That was also a troll, in case you didn't notice.
Field looks right because it's capitalized on the D and the F.
It looks like a Ronnie James Dio Field.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I looking at?
Like a rainbow in the dark.
So I felt like that trailer was a troll too, because it was it looks almost like Final Fantasy Tactics, but it's not Final Fantasy Tactics.
It's clearly not. No, it reminds me... Not super close, but it reminds me. Does anybody remember the weird Final Fantasy 12 sequel on the DS, Revenant Wings?
Holy shit, that was a deep cut. No, I don't remember that.
Okay, so for some reason, it was this weird real-time strategy sequel, and they ended up the same team that did that ended up doing Blue Dragon Plus, which was a remake of Blue Dragon in the same engine.
I do remember the Blue Dragon 3DS
because
game.
There's two Blue Dragon DS games. There's Blue Dragon Plus, which is like Revenant Wings, and then there was
Man, I feel
Awakened
like
Shadow.
I feel
Give me
like
a
we're
second.
going full circle here because Ronnie James Dio did the song for Blue Dragon.
No, he didn't.
I thought he did. I thought he did the song
No,
for that.
You're thinking the battle
chicken
song?
steak, the chicken steak song. Wasn't that Dio?
Give me a second. I'm pretty sure you're thinking of the singer from Deep Purple.
You might be right.
Because he's the one that does the singer song for the battle. Eternity.
Yeah,
That's the
chicken
song I'm
steak.
thinking of.
We got chicken steak now.
Yeah, Ian Gillan. Yeah.
Okay,
Ian
sorry.
Gillan's the
Sorry.
singer.
Close,
Yeah.
but
Anyways.
no cigar.
So long and short of it though is like that's what this reminds me of. It's that weird not full like a weird mix of real time strategy and stuff. It's also got a very weird art style, so it all looks like Final Fantasy shit until you see the enemies, and the enemies don't look like a Final Fantasy enemy to me. And it's got like this weird moving pieces on a map, but then it's also this is really fucking weird. And they're introducing real-time tactical battle, RTTB, a new deeply strategic real-time battle system.
Okay.
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 I don't know. This game looks like the same thing when I looked at that Revenant Wings game. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on when I'm not playing this.
Well, if that's not your jam, Square also announced Valkyrie Elysium, which is the new game in the Valkyrie series.
Does it play like any of
Dude,
the...
it's like a it looks like a generic-ass third-person action game.
Yeah, so it's not really Valkyrie.
By the way,
profile.
Diofield Chronicles not exclusive, Valkyrie Elysium exclusive. We have to make sure we...
Oh. Well, then I don't have to worry about it.
Okay, so that's all... Oh, wait. There was one more announcement that wasn't based on Japanese developers, which was the fucking star of the fucking State of Play, and that's the TMNT Cowabunga collection.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's in this collection. This might be the greatest collection of all time. Not gonna lie, it feels good. We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, the arcade game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the NES. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game from the NES. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project from the NES. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters from the NES. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, Super Nintendo. Tournament Fighters, Super Nintendo. Hyperstone Heist, Sega Genesis. Tournament Fighter, Sega Genesis. Fall of the Foot Clan for the Game Boy. Back from the Sewers for the Game Boy. And Radical Rescue from the Game Boy. This collection is $40 and will be out this year for everything.
Yeah, that's
And it's digital Eclipse.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really not much else that you can ask for, really.
Got online.
Like, what's missing?
It's got online.
What's missing?
Also, the Japanese versions are also in here. Online for Turtles in Time Arcade, Hyperstone Heist, and Tournament Fighters, as well as quality of life updates, including a museum, comics, and other historic TMNT media compiled. Never before seen development art, sketches, game design material. Man, just so much. So much in this collection. It's perfect. It's $40. I will buy it so hard. So hard.
I mean, but what's really awesome is that you get like all three official versions of the TMNT Turtles in Time soundtrack, because you get the arcade version, which is the original. Then you get the Super Nintendo version, and then all those tracks are remixed in Hyperstone Heist, and that might be one of the best game soundtracks ever made.
Oh man, I can't.
Oh fuck!
I cannot wait to play this. Hopefully, is it? I don't know if they said if it was more than one player online, but we all need to do a playthrough. Fucking Turtles in Time.
Love that game.
Yeah, we need to do that. That game, so good. So good. This collection, so good. Alright, that's all the news I got, unless you got anything else, Anthony. I'm going to move over to the emails.
Shit.
Alright. The first email comes from Blue Skies and is titled, Switch Got Some Splaining to Do. Hello all. Just a quick message about a couple interesting Switch releases. And I can already hear Anthony getting his keyboard ready. I didn't hear you mention a couple of questionable releases the last few weeks. One came out on 2/17 called Inside Her Bedroom. Obviously, the title
You
is...
get put on a list. You get put on a list on that one. I'm not even searching that up. That's just weird. Like, that's just an unnecessary... Like, at least all the other ones that don't bury the lead is, like, not creepy. That, like, I guess in the wording, like, that one just sounds creepy. What is it, a stealth game?
Obviously, the title is quite R-rated. Like usual, the girl characters in these types of games, they are scantily dressed. The other game that came out Friday called Secret Kiss, Sweet and Tender. Well, it's a student-teacher loving on her student.
Oh, God.
And of course, both dressed provocatively and voluptuous.
I'm not blaming the person writing in, clearly. I'm just saying this too, and if the possibility gets back to the developer, which probably won't, but whatever, that's illegal. Like, that is not cool. I don't give a shit if it's a female teacher and a male student. It's fucking illegal and wrong. Like, on every level. That's just fucking weird. Ugh.
So I know this crap shows up all the time, but how has this not been called out from the media or parents? Personally, I don't care. Boobs, good. But it's amazing that a news outlet hasn't run with this. It's a kid's system, after all. Dude, I don't know. I think the eShop is just a minefield of crap and just, ugh.
So here's the... I mean, yes, the eShop like Steam before it, which Steam is still bad, but like, I follow a Steam bot on Twitter that shows you everything that's uploaded, and like, yeah, most of it's not great. You're like, oh, okay, alright, like, this is kind of low effort. Maybe it's somebody's first game, I don't know. I'm not gonna criticize too much, but it's not as much as you think. Now, that's probably died down because now the Switch just accepts basically anything, and it's funny because, like, if you read up on the guy who made Retro City Rampage and his story about having to get what he had to do to get Nintendo to recognize Retro City Rampage so he could put it on the Wii, it was absurd. He had to have an office. Like, it couldn't be a home address. It needed to be a business space and stuff. So it's kind of absurd that it's kind of gone down that way. The reason why you don't hear people talk about it, I think, is partially because, like, the more you bring attention to it, it's going to have more people potentially buy it. Let's be honest, like, did everybody go out and try to buy the Popeye game right away? Probably not, but as soon as word got out that it was terrible, people started buying it.
That's how that works.
It's this weird thing where it's like the worst games of all time can sell because they have notoriety and not because they're actually good. Like, the fact that Bubsy 3D is worth something is because that it's notoriously a terrible game. So, it's probably partially that. I also don't think it would get clicks, which is probably the reason why media sites don't cover it. You know, their business is getting traffic, and we have a problem on the eShop, which, let's be honest, it's not going to be addressed by writing an article. Is that going to bring in clicks? Probably not. And I'm not shitting on sites that do that, but, like, that's how things are chosen. Like, as unfortunate as may be, like, that's the reality of why Kotaku runs certain articles. They know that even if you're outraged, you're going to click on it, and that's a view. And that's what they need to make money and stay afloat. So that's probably part of the reason why as well. But at the end of the day, I think it's just easier to ignore them. And your parental controls, if you're handing a Switch to a kid, should filter that out. But at the same time, I wouldn't hand a Switch where you can buy Like, I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to have anything graphic detail on the Switch shop, like from the screenshots, that is. And, like, are you handing a kid a console with your credit card saved inside of it? I would hope not. Like, at some point, parents have to do the job, too. Otherwise, like, we're back to Tipper Gore stuff of, like, we can't have the children listen to this. She's the reason why you still see that parental advisory sticker on albums. And, of course, now it's a badge of honor. Totally didn't work in her favor. But, like, that's the reason why we have the ESRB, is, like, a bunch of people didn't want to parent, blamed video games for their lack of parenting as if, how should I be held responsible for what my children play and watch? Well, if you bought it for them, you gave over the money. I don't know what you were expecting when you handed over money for Mortal Kombat, but that's on you.
Mortal Kombat. You sound like Samwise Gamgee there. You're like, Mortal Kombat.
It's called Mortal Kombat. What did you expect? Like, I really am questioning that to this day. Of, like, what the fuck did you think? Grand Theft Auto. I thought this was going to be a game about being a good Christian. Like, are you out of your fucking mind?
That's not what it's about?
It's just this stupid thing. So, like, yeah, I understand, like, having these games on the shop, not only for most of it being complete shit and just litter, essentially, is annoying. At the same time, it's like, Nintendo and anything Nintendo brands, yeah, they're for kids, but, like, there's an ESRB rating. If you go to the shop, they'll say mature or teen. And there's an ESRB on the eShop as well. And there's parental controls. Like, they can only walk you so far before, like, the parent has to step in and actually do their job. And I get it. Things fall through the cracks. It sucks.
I bet they do.
But, like, I as much as I hate these games, there's clearly an audience. Otherwise, we wouldn't still see them.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of horny people out there.
And, well, that plus, like, they drop it on sale. If somebody picks it up, hey, that's money in their bag. Like, they don't give a shit.
All right.
Like, so. It's a mess.
Second part of his email, he says, also, isn't it strange that Elden Ring got so many 10 out of 10s? Well, they told them all not to account for the poor frame rate as it would be addressed with a day one patch. Isn't that a bit shady? Also, a lot of new players bought the game thinking a 10 out of 10 game should be enjoyed by all. Well, the media sites all gave the game to the resident Souls experts frothing at the mouth. Of course they would give it a 10 out of 10. They should have 2 people review the game. Also a casual gamer. I guarantee the game would get a 6 out of 10 from casuals new to the genre, maybe a 7 out of 10. So again, it's all a bit deceptive. It's still a good game, but I suck at Souls games, but I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 so far, about 8 hours or so in, but maybe I would give it an 8.
You know who used to do, like, people, like, first of all, they don't pay writers enough, and there's just not enough time, and with how many games there are, like, to pay people to review the same game. Just not happening. EGM used to have people review the same game. They'd have, like, 4 reviews for the same game. But, like, EGM doesn't exist anymore, because it's just not a thing you can feasibly do. I agree, but at the same time, like, if you hand it to a noob, they're gonna get crucified because how dare you give this game a 6, right? So you give it to your Souls guy because, like, as much as clicks are good, no one needs threats on their life, And unfortunately, video games invites babies that want to send death threats to people into their ranks. Yeah, and plus, like, knowing what it's going to be, would you not want someone that can compare it for the audience that's clearly going to have interest in this? I see the positives and negatives for both. I think partially is just like, here, I'm going to hand it to the Souls person because they're going to be able to actually get through the game on time.
That's what I did. I gave it to Jay because, well, Jay made the most sense.
Yeah. I get Earth Defense Force because I signed up for that shit, apparently. I'm waiting for the next one at this point. It should be yearly. Come on, boys. I need some more insect shooting. It's the same like the last one.
All right. Next email comes from Antonio. He says, "Sup guys, still obsessed with Elden Ring. I'm about 70 hours in and level 81.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
That's actually low for most people I've seen online.
No,
FYI.
it's just, I cannot imagine spending that much time with those games, that's all.
GT7 gets played while I listen to podcasts, and Horizon unfortunately got put on the back burner ever since Elden came out. I would say I'm shocked that people expected more out of that state of play, but I'd be lying. Sony said what it was about and how long, which were big clues as to what wasn't going to be in it. However, that game announcement by Capcom was just flat out cruel. In other news, I'll be 36 on Tuesday. My mom texted...
Congratulations.
Yeah, you made it to 36. Level 36. My mom texts me every year asking, do I want a cake, which I never do. I'm not even a big fan of cakes, especially icing. God damn, man. Gotta get a cake every year with a big old flour icing on it. It's fucking delicious.
Gotta get an ice cream cake.
I like whipped icing, so.
Yeah.
Ice cream cake is like a lie that we tell ourselves. It's cake, but really it's not. It's just like some real dope-ass ice cream, and whatever the fuck that chocolate stuff is.
Oh, it's so good.
You know that hard chocolate stuff that they make guys? Oh,
yeah, it's so good.
that
Every
shit's
now and then I
amazing.
also like to go for a cookie cake. Cookie cakes are pretty good.
Cookie cakes are good too. Again, lies we tell ourselves that, oh yeah, this is a cake. It's not a cake.
It's a big ass fucking cookie.
Damn straight.
Speaking of food, I've also eaten 5 servings of nacho fries last week. I am obsessed and scared to make some at home in fear of going crazy with it. I'll probably eat some more on my birthday.
Is nacho fries from someone?
Taco Bell.
Ah, okay.
They bring them back. They're kind of like the McRib. They come back like once a year.
What makes them not? Are they fries with like?
They've got like
nacho seasoning.
Nacho seasoning on it. They're really fucking good.
Okay,
They come with cheese to dip them in.
Yep, nacho cheese.
Okay, this makes sense to me. I understand now. I just was like, is this actual fries, or are we like doing something weird with tortilla shells? Okay, got it.
No, nacho fries are the fucking bomb. I'm disappointed that I have not got them yet. They just came back. Hold on, Anthony. I'm getting you a picture so you can see the glory.
I'm sure if I just typed in nacho fries,
I got it.
They are pretty good.
But normally when they bring them back, I'll get them. My son loves them.
I'm seeing them right now. You don't even have to send that picture.
It's already sending, so whatever.
Oh wow. Well, when your dial-up finishes, let me know.
Oh, you gonna talk shit about my internet there, Mister?
Yep.
You couldn't even be on the show a couple weeks ago.
Hey, listen. All right, I don't know what the fuck happened. I fucking did my due diligence as I stumble on that word. Fuck off.
Yeah, no, I'm disappointed I haven't got my nacho. I was gonna get some yesterday, and then I decided I want a pizza instead. So, and then today I literally just clicked complete my order on an order of 5 Guys being delivered through DoorDash. So that's on its way. I'm watching my little driver make his way to my house.
Just make fucking burgers at home.
I like making burgers at home. I do.
It's just ground beef.
But sometimes I don't feel like cooking, Anthony. You know? I'm busy. I got shit to do. It's easier for me to click
You're busy.
a couple buttons.
We just did we're on close to the end of a 2-hour podcast. You're not that busy.
Do you want me to be cooking dinner on the podcast?
Absolutely. You know what, everybody? If you want to hear Ken cook on the podcast, send him a message on Twitter.
I'm gonna order me some beef and some. My wife actually.
Oh, I want to hear that sizzle in the background the whole time.
My wife actually learned the recipe for nacho fries, and she made them at home a couple of times. They were really fucking good. I love nacho fries. You know what's really good is you get yourself a couple orders of nacho fries. You open up whatever taco or burrito that you got and shove them in there. Oh, that's some good shit right there. Kind of like a nacho potato burrito. Fucking delicious.
Sidetrack because I just opened up Facebook while you were gushing about fries. Did that El Shaddai remaster ever appear, or was it just PC?
It's only PC, but it's out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it came
Yeah,
out,
alright.
but it was only on PC.
Because El Shaddai on PS3, not new, just complete in box. Local store is selling it for $84.99 Canadian.
I have a copy of it on 360.
Yeah, I have a copy of it too. I just couldn't believe that it's $84.99. I think I paid $30 for mine.
It's so funny what people will pay for physical copies of games to me. I'm just like, dude, I can just play that. It reminds me of the AVGN episode where they're pining over the Nintendo World Championships cart, and then like the AVGN's like, this is just fucking Mario and Rad Racer and Tetris. I could buy like 12 copies of these for the price of this one cartridge.
Yeah. Is Pat the NES punk in that episode?
Yeah, that's when because like
it's his cartridge.
Yeah, it's his cartridge, and then the nerd gets a gold one, and they're like playing for it, and he's like,
That's
what?
it. That's pretty sure that's Pat's as well.
Yeah, but then they smash him at the end of the episode, which I thought was hilarious. But no, like, I just don't understand it. Like, I see people paying obscene amounts of money for a game that I own digitally that I can just go play.
Well, with the 3DS closing, that same shop got a copy of Yokai Watch 3, which is like apparently a very low print run, and what was it? Sorry, $150.
Yeah, no, there's no video game that's worth $150.
Fatal Frame 2.
Nope.
How about that for $100?
Nope.
How about Billy Hatcher and the giant egg for $100?
Hey, I love me some Billy Hatcher, but I ain't paying $150.
Yeah,
for
that's
Billy Hatcher.
the price of is what set me off there.
Yeah,
I just can't believe how much games have gone up. Sorry, I really diverted this. Just
You
confirmation.
moved off the food, Anthony. What the hell is
it wasn't
wrong
intentionally.
with
It was just literally like I was dumbstruck by the cost of El Shaddai.
We only get to talk about nacho fries like 2 or 3 times a year.
I'm sorry for ruining the holiday.
It is a holiday. Nacho Fried Sunday is what it is. I'm gonna check Twitter again. I didn't have any tweets. No, I still don't have any tweets. That's all the emails that I have for this week. Check out our new logos. Props to Anthony for creating 2 new logos, one for each of the podcasts.
I didn't.
You put them together, and they're rad.
I did put some. Yeah, I put some stuff together because like you needed a higher res one of Phoenix Down, and I was like, well, I'll just recreate it. And I went, well, if I'm gonna recreate it, I might as well just do something a bit new. It's still it's still got the same elements, both of them, but they got a little bit new flair, and they're in a higher resolution than the old ones.
Yep, I think that was the biggest part of it, is like a lot of our logos laying around out there were really low resolution because we built them when the standard was 400 by 400.
And not, what, 1,000?
Yeah, it's
1,200.
1,200 by 1,200 now, or some ridiculously high
14,
res.
Yeah, by 14, yeah. So
now those are out there, so you can check those out. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at N4G Podcast. You want to shoot us an email, it's podcasts@ztgd.com. You can follow us on Twitter. Anthony's a Complacent Robot. Ryan is at Wombat RP. I am at ZTGD, and the site is at ZTGD Content. Phoenix Down just finished Yakuza 4. It is out there. Also, our feeds are fixed. That was an Apple problem, and I apologize. I had a lot of people reaching out to me saying, hey, why is the podcast not on iTunes? Apple fucked up last week. I don't know. Some podcasts went through, some did not. I saw a couple people out there saying theirs hadn't gone, and then both of ours showed up. Phoenix Down was like almost a week late, but they did eventually get on the Apple feeds, so we're good there. They were on Spotify and Google and Audible and everything already, but Apple was just being a bitch. So, but
I think the next game is Control.
Yep, Control is up next, so they'll be rocking through that one. I bought some Govy lights for my TV, some Immersion Lights.
Nice.
I have no idea what that is.
They showed up today. The box is sitting behind me. I might try to set that up today.
Do these change color with your television?
Yeah, so like you put a camera at the top of the TV and it looks at the screen and then it puts the lights behind it. Match what's on the screen. Yep.
Neat.
And you're doing that on your OLED, Ken?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm terrified of setting that little camera on top. I don't know if you've ever. I'm sure you have, Ryan, but Anthony, I don't know if you've ever seen an OLED
No.
screen. It's like
I mean, yes, I have. But,
it's a
very
millimeter thick.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm like terrified of putting a camera on it, but we're gonna try it, see what happens. But anyway, I think that might be my project today. My project yesterday, this is how nerdy I am, was replacing a surge protector. The one for my
Oh, you're so cool, Ken.
my TV and my game systems was an old like 12 port, and I needed more, so I bought a big ass monster 22 AC port with 6 USB ports.
Nice.
I hooked that sumbitch up. Yeah, I'm good now. That thing is a beast. And then I got a new wireless controller for the 360, so I was playing some Golden Axe Beast Rider yesterday.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't know. It was a game.
But you can't. You always go, no, the fucking Eternal Champions is a good game. Shut up.
No,
Then
I
you
never
play
said it was a
Golden
good game. I said I enjoy it.
You liar. You've said it's a good game. And
Well, that's a lie.
I'm 99% sure you have said it's a good game, and I'm like, it is not. And then you'll be like, well, I enjoy it.
That's the.
Anyways,
I also played Yar Kung
fucking
Fu.
Golden Axe.
So.
Yeah, Golden Axe is one of the worst. Beast Rider is one of the worst fucking games.
I need to figure out what I'm gonna check out today because like I pulled out all of my discs and I'm like looking.
Is this your 360 that you were thinking about getting an E, but then you're like, it's too much money?
Yeah, I'm still
Okay.
rocking the 320 fucking glossy one.
Yeah, the glossy ones are still okay, aren't they?
It's fine. It's just I don't know. It's really loud and it gets really hot. So.
Oh, really? I thought that was an issue that was solved with that one. Yeah, the E doesn't make a lot of noise, but I mean the E's also aren't nearly as old as I call the jet fighter model because I don't know what model.
I looked into taking it apart to clean it because I'm sure part of it is the dust that's just caked in there. But like taking one of these apart is a giant fucking mess.
Yeah.
So
I had to take my dad's apart, and it was a real mess.
Yeah, like you have to get like special prying tools and shit to pop off the bottom. Oh man, I watched a video on it.
Probably similar to the tools I use to replace windshields.
Yeah, no, I was like, you know what? It can just be loud. It's it's fine. So
I think I've told the story, but like so I had an original or the arcade model, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've given it away since. It was like the first thing I bought with my first paycheck ever. And I was playing Alan Wake, and the whole room was so hot the entire time because of Alan Wake. Like it just the brick that came on the plug was giving off way too much heat. The 360 itself was just giving off way too much heat. I remember like sweating playing that game because of how hot it was. And I was like, I just need to end because I can't have this running anymore.
You have no idea how much I appreciate like the Series X and the PS5. They're whisper quiet.
The Series E I have is nice and quiet and like makes I don't think any noise.
Let's be
and
fair.
Doesn't give off any heat.
Yeah, let's give credit where credit is due. Xbox was quiet last gen. PlayStation 4, no, that thing was.
Mine makes noise, but not a lot.
Well, you also don't play The Last of Us.
No, that's true.
Dude, when I played Last of Us on PS4, holy shit. That thing literally sounded like a jet engine. Oof. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna dig through my collection. Mostly I'm just like going back and checking out. I checked out Ridge Racer Unbounded yesterday too. I was just checking out games that aren't back compat that I haven't played in a while. And that's really all I'm doing. I did Splatterhouse a few weeks ago. I just want to go back to some of these old games and again appreciate how games today are locked at 60 and just low.
Blue Dragon, Ken.
Blue Dragon's back compat. I played it. I did Phoenix Down for Blue Dragon.
No, I forgot it was back compat.
Yeah,
right?
I did Phoenix Down's Blue Dragon. That's one of the Phoenix Downs I was on.
I'm looking at my wall, and it's the first thing that stuck out because, like,
We got chicken steak now.
Let's see. Black Site Area 51. Ken.
I own
Come
it.
on.
I own it. I can play it.
Bomberman, whatever
Act
that
Zero?
terrible Bomberman is.
Act
Yeah.
Zero.
I have Act
Act-
Zero. I have a copy of that.
Get some Chronicles of Riddick,
I own that, but
Clash of the Titans.
I don't own that one.
No, that's a shame, Ken.
No, it's really not a shame.
It's not. No. I'm just looking at my weird wall of stuff. I picked up some of it for Phoenix Down just in case we did it during the month or the year of bad games.
Oh, yeah, I have a ton of stuff I need to kind of go back and check out.
Yeah, so do I. I have both of the Transformers Cybertron games on 360.
Yeah, those
Never
are
played the second one.
It's okay. It's not as good as the first one. The first one's the best one. And then they also did that movie tie-in.
Rise of the Dark Spark. That's actually
Yeah.
a very hard game to find.
I have that. I have all three of those games.
That's hard to find. I bought a copy on PS3 for next to nothing, and it was in rough quality. But the disc was fine.
Yeah, no, I just have
And,
discs. So
But like the PS4 version of that is super expensive because Activision ended up losing the rights or whatever shortly after, right?
yeah, I still own
No,
it
sorry, they did
digitally.
Devastation. Yeah, they did Devastation, and then they lost the rights to that. And
Who
they
has
lost
the
the rights to
Transformers
Teenage-
license now?
the last game came out was Battlegrounds,
Yeah, which is like some
Game Mill,
yeah. They make
something like
not
that. Give me a
great
second. I'm
games.
looking it up. I want to know. Outright Games.
Oh yeah, they do not make good games.
Outright Games. Let me just quickly.
They make all those streamer games. You remember the
Yeah. Oh,
the
I
Tube
remember.
Racer
That's-
game that Drew
So
talked about?
they made Crayola Scoot, Ken.
That game is not bad.
They also did DreamWorks, or published, I should say, Crayola Scoot. Climax made that. Climax also made DreamWorks Dragons Dawn of New Riders, which I think is pretty good. That's the Zelda-like game. They published that Ice Age game that was very weird and random. It was fine. But yeah, Race with Ryan is them.
Ugh.
Zoid's game is them. Apparently Troll Hunters is them too, which makes sense. Wow, there's a lot of crap. They don't do the streamers one, they do the Ryan stuff.
I thought they did the streamers one.
No, that's the same people that did Speed 3 Grand
Ooh.
Prix, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that terrible fucking
Ugh.
Lion Castle Entertainment, I'm pretty sure.
Oh
is the
yeah,
one that
Lion
did
Castle. Yeah, like nothing
the,
they've ever put out's been good.
Taxi Chaos was them, yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking the one that Drew did, right?
Yeah, I forget what it's called. It's like
Oh,
you're riding on inner tubes or something.
yeah. I can't
Streamer
remember.
tubing is what I call it.
Oh yeah,
Streamer
I remember that.
Dude, we need tubing. We need a next gen tubing.
Something Slides.
Star Slides, wasn't it?
Star Slides.
That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Slide Stars. That's what it's called.
Slide
Slide
Stars.
Stars,
Okay.
yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
They should make a White Castle version and call it Slider Stars.
Yeah, there you go. And we've been talking about Taco Bell and White Castle on this podcast now.
Hey, I had to
Man,
mention
I'd love
Five
to
Guys. I
have a
got
White
Five Guys
Castle.
on the way. Just go
The,
make your own burger, Anthony.
People always be like,
Ken,
"You guys
hold
talk
on.
too much about food." Well,
Ken,
it's noon.
Yeah,
I
we
have
start
to-
at noon.
Well, it's not noon now, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Ken, fuck off. So Five Guys, they make cheap, quick burgers,
Fuck off.
and you're like,
It should be the
"Nah,
title of this podcast.
yeah. You're
Well,
like, I'm gonna get it from Five Guys, and Five Guys burgers are literally just ground beef grilled and then put in a bun.
delicious.
Just grill ground beef at home.
I do sometimes. It's delicious as
Yeah,
well.
it's the exact same shit. You don't have to pay as much.
Yeah, sometimes I pay for convenience, Anthony.
And then you
Same.
pay for more convenience when they drive it to your house.
You're right. I'm watching the guy drive to my house right now. He's almost here, so we gotta wrap this show up so I can go enjoy my Five
No, I
Guys.
want to hold you up so you can enjoy.
Anyway, that's all we got for this week. Blah 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 blah.
I hope this fries sweat in the bag.
Oh, there absolutely will be. It's gonna taste so good.
Ugh.
Anyway, that's it. Let's get back to this. We gotta get here. Peace, bitches.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.
Epic fail. Welcome to the N4G podcast. Oh, you can... It's me, Mario. $0.
This is gonna be a very interesting episode.
Gather time.
Greetings, programs. I got lost trying to find my way to the secret underground N4G Radio lair.
The Wombat. And
I always live in anger.
Killer Wolverine. Play games, not consoles. No fanboys allowed.
And then I killed the dragon. 8.0.